Today we're talking about the biggest money manifestation misconception. I'm just checking my sound real quick because I've been rearranging and tweaking some things. So let me just make sure I'm in all the right places and all the sounds and things. All right. Sounds good. Okay, so let's get into this. So this actually wasn't even what I was going to talk about today, but for some reason I was planning my other video and what I was going to say, kind of like do a script in my head. And this kind of just overtook it. And so I got the nudge to talk about this instead. So that's what we're going to do today. So hopefully this video doesn't go too long, but if it does, like just save it for later so that you can watch it at a time, or to save it when you notice what I'm going to talk about creep in. All right, so before I get started, who am I? If you've never seen me on here before, my name is Brittany Brown, and I am a mindset and empowerment coach. And basically, what that means is I help hardworking moms like you create new legacies in their family from the inside out. Right? So, working on our mindsets and confidence and the way our brain works and our emotions and all of those things, right? Really tapping into our interpersonal power. The reason I'm telling you that is because I think this plays a huge part in this misconception, because some of you might be like, well, who are you? Why should we listen to you? I've mentioned before, I'm also a teacher, and we know teacher salaries are not necessarily the best. So some of you might be like, why should I even listen to you? Because you're not a millionaire yet. So a couple of things. The first one being that sometimes when we see people who are very well off, who are millionaires, who live in a mansion, who drive fancy cars, talk about manifestation, it seems unrealistic to us, right? We see them and we say, oh, that's great. That's awesome. That worked for you. That's not going to work for me, right? Because our brains play tricks on us. And so for me, it's a little bit more like I'm just a few steps ahead. So I still remember what it's like to worry about bills and how you're going to pay for things and trying to bring in more income. However, since I've been implementing money manifestation rituals and tapping into my own personal power and all of those things, I have been slowly building more and more and more income coming in, right? So I have teaching, I have a side hustle, but also like just seeing pieces of money come in a little at a time, and that gradual increasing, so that you know that you don't need to be a millionaire. Okay, my point to this is you don't need to be a millionaire to manifest money, right? That we see that happen and it's like, oh, these people manifested $1 million in a day. That's not feasible for me, right? And maybe they did. However, like they probably had more money to invest in the first place, right? If you have more money to lay down on the table to invest, your return of investment is going to be larger, right? It's the difference between being able to invest $5 and turn it into 100 and 5,000 and turn it into 100,000. Okay. So with that said, what is that big misconception that I'm talking about? It's the idea that you have to go big or go home. That our money manifestations have to be these giant goals and dreams, right, in order for it to work. And that is not necessarily true. And actually, I think sometimes that's where we get blocks, because our brain overtakes us and we say, that's not possible. You're not worthy of that. What makes you think you can do that? You can't even pay the bills you have. You have this amount of debt, right? And our brains just start going. So what I would invite you to do instead is to think about taking your money manifestations. Yes, it's okay to dream. Like on my vision board, millionaires up there, right? So I'm not saying don't dream big, right? Have it on your vision boards, have an idea of what you want, but also be open, because sometimes when we have those bigger things, we miss the little things, right? We're so focused on the big things that we're not seeing the little things, and then we get down on ourselves. So just be open to also manifesting smaller money chunks. Okay. I found $1 on the sidewalk outside. I was getting fingerprinted for my teaching job, so I had to go to the police station. Just if you're wondering why I'm at the police station. It's a thing you have to do when you're a teacher, right? So I was walking to get fingerprinted, and there was $1 on the sidewalk, you guys. $1. And I was like, yes, money manifestation in action, right? Because those things add up, right? Those millionaires and billionaires and all of the people that we see who talk about manifesting money and all of these large chunks and all the things, I believe them. I believe that they did. However, we see their end result. We see today. We maybe didn't see the years and years and years and years that they have been slowly manifesting things over and over and over, right? Maybe they manifested 100, then they manifested 300, then 1,000, right? And then being able to invest that back into their mindset and their personal development so that they get to a point where they're like, yeah, I manifested this car, I manifested $1 million, because their mindset is in a place where they actually believe they can do it. If you're working 2 jobs to try to keep food on your table and budgeting your groceries, and you're walking down the grocery aisle and you're like, I can't afford that. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. It's going to be really hard for you to envision manifesting $1 million. But could you envision manifesting $20? Probably. Maybe it's in the form of a gift card. Maybe it's, someone pays for your $20 worth of groceries. And that seems more reasonable and believable. And for our brains, that's what our brains need to make it believable. So if you're doing money manifestation, don't feel like you have to say, I'm going to be a millionaire. I mean, you can. I'm not discrediting that. But also be open. That's all I'm saying. Be open to having a smaller amount that builds and builds and builds, right? That's the misconception. That's what we're trying to avoid, is thinking about it so big that it's not believable. So make it believable. Okay. What are you going to start with? $1, $5, right? I'm super excited to this day. I'm like, ooh, $5, right? Ooh, $1, right? Make it believable. Okay. All right. I'm popping out of here. Let me know what you guys think, and have the best day.